Hey, what's up? Donnie Baker here with you, LPR Sound Foundation. Hey, has this ever happened to you, man? You open up your Pro Tools and maybe the bass player sent you the bass track and you got to go place the output onto your console so you could mix the bass in a little bit and try to get some some pre-mixing going on. And you click the output and you're like, what the hell? Where's my channel 3? None of your inputs, none of your outputs are there. Bro, what happened? We have Apollo interfaces, so I'm going to the Apollo, man, and I'm like, I see all the inputs and outputs on the Apollo. They're all working. So you go to your settings and you click it on the input output and you're like, well, okay, let me hit the defaults. You may have saved your input output as a setting and you want to, you delete everything and I spent 15 minutes looking for channel 3, bro. What had happened was I started up Pro Tools too quick before my interface is connected. So what Pro Tools does, and it's pretty smart, it looks for the next available sound source, which top of the list is Pro Tools aggregate. And that means that Pro Tools is going to look for the next actual I/O that it finds. It might be your Mac Mini speakers, it might be the speakers on your monitor, it might be your headphone, your external headphones. It's going to look for the next available, and that's all it's going to give you for input output. I forgot. So I'm going through, man, and I'm looking at I'm clicking. All I had to do was change my playback engine. When you change your playback engine while your Pro Tools is open, it's gonna close and save and open you again, and now you got your inputs outputs. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Let's go over here and check it out. Did you ever open up your inputs or outputs on one of your tracks and expect to see your list of inputs and outputs, but you don't? Whereas you open it up and you don't see your list of outputs? Well, hold up. You don't see your list of inputs? What the hell? Where did all my stuff go? So your first thought is, oh, what happened to my my console? What happened to my settings? What happened to, it's supposed to be this, it's supposed to have all of this. And you're going through and go, oh my goodness, what happened? I mean, I've got 40 outputs in here I'm supposed to see in Pro Tools. So you go make sure that your stuff is turned on. Yeah, everything looks like it's connected, but it's not showing up in my Pro Tools. What the hell? So you just kind of freak out a little bit and you start changing stuff, and you go up to your I/O settings and you start trying to import new settings and export settings and change your inputs and hit the default, and you do all the regular stuff, right? But what you don't do is you spend 15 minutes trying to figure out why you don't have your I/O on there, and you keep going to your I/O and you're going, where's my stuff? You import settings and you're like, well, here's my settings right here. It's supposed to be this, right? And then they show up, but they're there. But then when you go into your Pro Tools, where are they at? They're not here. It says not available. It says everything's path not available. What the hell? What you need to do is go up here to Setup, Playback Engine, check right here and make sure that your playback engine is what it's supposed to be. What happens frequently is that you start Pro Tools before maybe your interface has done connecting to the computer. You're trying to get started real quick and it hasn't connected to Pro Tools, but Pro Tools goes ahead and opens and it automatically goes to the next audio interface or the next audio I/O that it sees in its list. And you can see at the top, the first one is the Pro Tools aggregate. And that's what you could even connect to your monitor. You can connect to your external headphones, your Mac Mini speakers, or your MacBook Pro speakers, whatever. You need to go here and connect back to your interface. Now it's going to tell you by selecting this playback engine, you're automatically going to save and close your session. By doing that, it's going to take a little bit longer for it to open. Now you see that your playback engine is connected to the Universal Audio Thunderbolt, if that is in fact your interface. This just happens to be mine. But when you click OK, it's going to take a little bit longer to open because it has to repopulate everything. So it has to repopulate all of your I/O. Now you can go back to your I/O, and now you can see your inputs and you can hit your defaults, and you can go to your outputs and hit your defaults. Your monitor path has changed. Bus assignments. Yeah, so you need to understand that you need to remap these things, or maintain the originals, and then go to your bus tab and make sure that your bus tab is the same. Now you can see all of your console inputs and outputs there. And now when you go back, you should be able to see all of your inputs and outputs. There's all my outputs. Here's all my inputs. So that's just a little tip that's going to save you, some time of looking around and figuring out why you don't have your inputs and outputs the way that you normally are seeing them. You know, you might say, oh my goodness, last time I had this session open, I had all my stuff. You know, you need to go and make sure that your playback engine is the correct playback engine. There you go. Tip of the day. We'll see you next time. Hey, so hopefully none of that's ever happened to you, or if it has, now you kind of remember how to fix it, right? Yeah, it took me a minute to remember how to fix it, and I was embarrassed a little bit because it's kind of my job as a Pro Tools guy, you know what I mean? But yeah, look, we all freak out a little bit sometimes, like, what the hell? Where'd my inputs and outputs go? I was checking, dude, I was literally checking, checking my Thunderbolt cables, and I spent way too much time on it. All I had to do was check my playback engine. So remember that next time. Check your playback engine. This has been a Pro Tools tip from a friend to a friend. So don't forget about that. We'll see you next time. My name is Donnie V. I am out.